What's going on, y'all? Welcome to a little bit late Monday Night Raw review. Now, Monday Night Raw was an interesting one. A lot of interference. That's like the word of the day for Monday Night Raw. You know, remember your Sesame Streets and whatnot. The word of the day is interference, because that's all. Like I think every match except for one ended with an interference. But to find out, let's get into it. So they start off with the Judgment Day. And the Judgment Day came out and ran their usual promo, with the highlight of the promo being Dominic Mysterio getting some very good heat on him. I gotta give him that. That was like the most impressive thing so far in Dominic's career, is getting that much heat by saying that he's this generation's Eddie Guerrero. And then he changed it and said Eddie Guerrero was his generation's Dominic Mysterio. I was like, oh man, yeah. That you want some heat? Talk about Eddie in a negative way. You gonna get some heat. But yeah. Then I think they also talked about basically beating the OC at Crown Jewel, which brought out the OC to confront the Judgment Day, telling them that tell Dominic Mysterio to shut up, and that they pretty much is going to be victorious, and that the Judgment Day was some ass clowns. Finn Balor had a good moment in the promo too, where he said that he was the one who started the club, as in the Bullet Club, and that everybody who's taken control of the club since he left the club is living off of his legacy. And then Carl Anderson will actually challenge Finn Balor to a match, which ended up being, they went straight from the promo to the match. And it didn't even go to commercial break. They just ended the promo and went straight to a match. It's been a long time since I've seen that. But first match of the night was, like I said, Carl Anderson versus Finn Balor, which was a very good opening match, and it showed Carl Anderson's single competitive in-ring ability, and he was just making him just as good. It's not just as good as his tag team ability as a singles competitor. And this is coming from somebody who basically never seen Carl Anderson other than in a tag team environment. I don't know I can't think if I ever see him in a one-on-one match. He might have done one back when they was with WWE the first time, but I can't really remember. But it was good. It's good to see. Like I like what they doing with the OC and the Judgment Day. It's like club members versus a former club member, because they even talked about how Carl Anderson and AJ and them feels betrayed by Finn Balor for what he's doing. But it played up good, nice here. But as I said, the word of the day is interference, and due to some interference from the Judgment Day, Finn Balor pulled the victory over Carl Anderson. And the thing was, Carl Anderson actually looked like he was about to have the match won, but interference. But like I said, the interference don't stop there. We had a backstage promo with The Miz. He talked to Johnny Gargano, and he basically telling Johnny Gargano that he's gonna go out to the ring and tell the truth. And basically he came out to the ring and said that the truth was that the reason why Dexter Lumis has targeted him He said the truth was that it was because he chose to mentor Tommaso Ciampa over him, and that since he was disgruntled and lost his job, he chose to take it out on the Miz. This would bring out Johnny Gargano, who basically called Hornswoggle, or I think it was supposed not Hornswoggle, Boss Swoggle. Oh, basically called it a load of crap. He basically called it a load of crap, and that wasn't the real truth. Implying, and then I think he also implied later on in the night too, but he implied that basically it was more to it than what the Miz said, and that what the Miz said was the truth was not the truth. And then they kept saying the word truth until R-Truth came out, which was weird. I'm like, why is R-Truth coming out? But then I didn't realize R-Truth was from. They was in North Carolina, and that's R-Truth home state. So I never knew that. I never knew that R-Truth was from North Carolina. But they had some fun with the word of truth with truth. You know, they even did they said we want the truth. You can't handle the truth. Because when R-Truth made the Miz mad, and they kept saying the word of truth, and R-Truth kept talking about Miz disrespecting North Carolina's mac and cheese, and then to the point where R-Truth challenged Miz to the match, and that's where Miz was like, once they goaded Miz into it, Miz was like, yeah, I want the truth, and they said him and R-Truth and Johnny Gargano looked at each other at the same time saying you can't handle the truth. But that led into the second match of the night, which is the Miz versus R-Truth, which was a good one. It was another good match. I can't say it's been a long time since I seen a R-Truth, a good R-Truth match. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen a good R-Truth match. It didn't get the distance though. What I mean by that is time. It didn't get a lot of time, but it did for what it was. It was a solid, good R-Truth match, like I said. And once again, interference. But this time, unlike with Judgment Day, it was interference from Johnny Gargano, who basically pretended to be Dexter Lumis and distracted the Miz long enough for R-Truth to get the victory. Then, ironically, we go to a backstage promo with Candice LeRae, who is being interviewed about the impact she's made since she returned to WWE and made her main roster debut on Monday Night Raw. Her interview would get interrupted by Bayley or for short Damage Control, because it was all three. Basically saying that warning her that she don't have any friends here, and that any friends she did have they put on the shelf. And Candice LeRae did confront him about that, about putting Asuka and Alexa Bliss on the shelf, and that but then Bayley would push the camera and beat up Candice LeRae. You didn't get to see it, but you heard it. So and it was, I'm like, I dig it. Let us fill in the blanks. We did get the next match, which is the third match of the night, which is Austin Theory versus Mustafa Ali, which was another good match. This was a solid match. So far, they're 3 for 3 in solid good matches. And the one thing I will say, too, another thing that was a bummer was that the crowd was not. The North Carolina crowd was not into anything that was going. I mean, they was into some stuff, but it was mostly doing like the matches. None of the matches, at least to the North Carolina. I will say that no matter what I think about these matches, and I tell you when I tell you about these matches, this is the first time I can say in my review that no matter what I say, that whole crowd in North Carolina at the arena did not pop for anything in matches except for a few things, mainly Seth Rollins, but I'll get to that in a moment. The match between Austin Theory, the reason why I say that in a moment because Seth Rollins was also at ringside. Seth Rollins was on commentary during this match, and Austin Theory and Mustafa Ali actually had to put on a pretty good, decent match. Once again, though, interference, and Mustafa lost to Austin Theory thanks to interference from Seth Rollins, right when Mustafa was about to beat Austin Theory, and then Seth Rollins proceeded to beat the hell out of Mustafa Ali, but Mustafa Ali would get his comeback and chase Austin Theory. Y'all, here's hoping that we actually get a proper match between the two at Crown Jewel. I actually would like to see that at Crown Jewel. But yeah, so and now we get to another match, which is the fourth match, which is Omos versus some local competitors. I think it was 4 against 1, a 4-on-1 handicap match, and MVP cut a promo about Braun Strowman, but he did cut a promo on the local competitors saying that they have health insurance and will make them think that they can take on Omos, and he basically sold off Omos, and then the match started, to which Omos destroyed the local competitors and won. And this is the match I referred to when I said all but one match did not have an interference, and that was this match. No interference. Omos just won by destroying the competitors. We did get a backstage promo with Elias, where it's set up basically the next match. He was basically having a conversation with Riddle, and it's weird. He seemed like he's like a tweener, because he seemed like he's a baby face, but he gave like a warning to Riddle that he was, because he was cool with his brother Ezekiel, that he was gonna let him interfering. He was gonna let his little interruption last week slide. But he made a promise to himself that he wasn't going to let anybody else interrupt him anymore, or he was going to basically make them pay for it. And Riddle kind of ignored him. It looked like he was getting ready to hit him with the guitar. But then Chad Gable and them showed up, and thus an argument ensued. And this match came about, which is Elias versus Chad Gable, which was a good match in itself. Nothing bad here to say about Otis. This is another interference match, but this is the one match where the interference didn't, result in, the person winning. Otis did get involved and interfere, but thanks to the, even the odds from Matt Riddle, which it was, I guess you can't say, yeah, because his interference caused Elias to win, so I guess that was another interference. But Elias won due to Matt Riddle's interference on Otis' interference. And yeah, pretty much they try to beat up Elias. No, you know what? I take that back, because Matt Riddle didn't come out until after the match was won, and when they were trying to beat up on Elias. So I take that back. It was only interference from Otis. We got the next match, which was JBL. The next match before it started, though, the next match was going to be Baron Corbin versus Johnny Gargano, but that was because Johnny Gargano, who was trying to go find Candice LeRae due to her being beat up, and they did give an injury update that she had a little sprain due to the fight, and that they don't know if she was going to be out for like a long time or not, but Johnny Gargano on the way, he tried to find The Miz, not The Miz, but his wife Candice, but The Miz would interfere, and Johnny Gargano basically gave him a warning, telling him that if he don't tell the truth next week, he's going to blow the whistle on the truth next week. But he would run into JBL and Baron Corbin, who JBL basically ridiculed him by saying that his level of disrespect towards them, and that if it was the Attitude Era, he would be carrying JBL's bags and stuff, and thus that interaction caused this next match, which is Baron Corbin versus Johnny Gargano, which was a good match in itself. Great spots, and I love the Johnny Gargano's taunting of JBL, but unfortunately, again, with interference from JBL, Baron Corbin got the victory here. So I'm guessing they actually pushed Baron Corbin as a heel, because he haven't lost a match since his re-debut with JBL. JBL did cut a promo introducing Baron Corbin, by the way, too. We got Bobby Lashley, a look back at Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar's history together, and then we end up getting the main event, which is Bayley versus Bianca Belair, and which was a good main event. It was you could have picked a better main event. I mean, I guess you could have, but it was a good main event. Bianca Belair pretty much held her own, even though it was interference from Dakota Kai and them. Once again, interference. But it was this match. It wasn't the highlight of this match wasn't the fact that even though Bayley won this match, and then yes, she won. Bayley did win. It wasn't because of Dakota Kai and Io Sky's interference, because a mystery lady dived off the top rope, taking them two and the referee out. But then this mystery lady helped Bayley get the victory, and that mysterious lady was Nikki. Or Nikki Ash says almost a superhero, but now I think she's returning to. I think the whole highlight point is I think they basically had her go back to her previous gimmick of being just the chaotic Nikki Cross. And I think that was Nikki Cross was the person that everybody wanted to see as champion, not so much as almost a superhero Nikki, but yes, it looked like Nikki Cross has gone back to being Nikki has gone back to being Nikki Cross, chaotic. But her interference did lead to Bayley getting the victory. But she would take out both Bianca and Bayley to end the show. Pretty much a good, decent show. I had nothing really bad to say about it. I still don't understand why we keep giving homage local competitors, but it is what it is. I'm giving it a 7 out of 10 big ups. Just mostly because it was a decent show. Nothing bad to say about it. But you let me know in the comments down below what you thought, and if you enjoyed this review, you hit this button right there in the upper right corner for all of my WWE reviews. And if you enjoyed this review video so much you want to support the channel, all you gotta do, guys, is hit those buttons. And as always, hitting you on these videos for more amazing content. But don't go anywhere, because I got more coming your way, including the review for Smile coming up next. Peace.